Hello, I am ABlueTable. We're gonna be playing a game, called It Gets So Lonely Here. Which is true. It's very lonely here. Anyways, let's play a game. You are running through a forest. It is late at night, and the sky is black as pitch. There is nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you, not properly. The trees which surround you, jutting out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. You do not know where you are going. I can relate to the character already! I get lost easily. You have no map, no route, no plan. You are running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind. You have no desire. As you run, save to escape. Did I escape? You cannot let yourself be caught. If that were to happen, you are certain you would be ruined. You have no choice, therefore, but to keep going on and on, though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. Ah! You have no idea how long you have been running. Time has begun to blend together. It has lost all meaning. I really relate to this character. Something sharp snags at the hem of your skirt, but you do not have the luxury to pause and examine what has happened. Instead, you tug. Your skirt tears, the sound splitting through the forest, and you stumble forward with a shocked grasp. Oh, I should mention, this game is free on Steam, if you know, you want to play it. You are free, as is the game, but at what cost? Your skirt... that's good timing, I guess. Your skirt has been irrevocably damaged. Not my skirt. It might be too late to worry about such trivial matters now, though. If you do not start running again, and soon, she will catch you. Then your life will be over. You do not know if she is still following you, but you do not want to risk looking over your shoulder. If you were to see her silhouetted beneath a tree looking at you with sickly, sweet smile, that sickly sweet smile which once ensnared you, you would lose what little nerve you possess. Your legs would lock up and your blood would freeze in your veins. Then you would crumple. You would fall, but you would not hit the ground. She would be there to catch you. Did she not promise when you made that contract that you would never be alone? You would like to take back that silly wish of yours, but it is too late for that. It is too late for a lot of things. All you can do is run. You run and run while icy fog swirls about your feet. It is cold enough to sap the heat from your body, and you shudder from it. It feels as though you are drowning. It feels as though you are being buried alive. Your knees and your shins, meanwhile, are bleeding. You cannot endure much more of this, but if you value your own life, you must. You run, and you run, and you run until at long last you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths which split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path down which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though, not when you put out so much effort into running forwards. You can only press on. The 3 paths are signposted, which is something of a strange sight given you are so deep in the forest. Dark though it might be, you have grown accustomed to the shadows. You can just about pick the writing in this old, dilapidated signpost, curved and slanted though it is. Your fate, if you forgive me for sounding cliché, is in your hands. Now, I wonder, which path will you take? Oh, shore, village, castle. Let's go to the castle. So you want to go to the castle? Good idea. Thanks. All decent fairy tales tend to conclude in castles once their beleaguered, put-upon heroines are finally able to wed the handsome princes they once dreamed of. Why bother trying your luck with the shore, which... I'm struggling. Why bother Why bother struggling? Just don't struggle. Why bother trying your luck with the shore, which may very well be deserted, or the village, which will be full of dirty, barefoot peasants? Huh. It is far better to skip the suffering and go straight to the grand finale. That is very astute of you. I did not realize you had it in you to be so mercenary. I can only wonder what you will uncover during your moonlight meanderings. The night is far from over and your adventures are only just beginning. I hope that you have brushed up on your curtsies. They might come in handy when one is interacting with a sovereign. Royals can be temperamental, after all. If you fail to treat them with the prerequisite amount of respect, you might come to regret it. You follow the path which leads to the castle, supporting yourself on weary, aching legs which feel ready at a moment's notice to detach from your hips. You are a little more than a wisp of a girl, but you have been running for so very long, and your feet are so very numb. You feel like a great lumbering thing, clumsy and ungainly. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. Your only hope, as you continue to run, is that you will find a spare room available for you in the castle. You do not know what exactly will await you at the castle, but you have visions as you run of a vast, opulent dwelling. The dwelling will surely be finely furnished rooms which you might rest your weary head. There must also be a king and queen inside the castle, you ponder, who will be kind and wise. And what of their children? What of a princess? Every good castle must possess a princess who will take pity on you in your plight. You can imagine the face of a generous princess with ease, thanks to the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. The princess will be fair of hair and blue of eye, with soft pink lips pursed like rosebuds. Her limbs will be slender, her hands will be dainty and unsullied from physical labor, and her sensibilities will be sweeter than marzipan. She will be kind to you, compassionate, just like an older sister. You do not know what older sisters are like, though, or younger sisters, for that matter. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Monarchs do not, as you know from voracious readings, have the best track record when it comes to caring for the peasantry. Were there not a famous queen who once said, with a cavalier wave of her hand, that the hungry peasants in her kingdom should content themselves with cake if bread was not an option? You think that this might be a misquote, but the point still stands. Though royals are supposed to grant their subjects succor in their time of need, this does not always happen. In fact, it rarely happens. Kings and queens and princesses and princes are just people all at the end of the day, and they are subject to the same caprices. I don't know that word. I've heard it, but I don't know what it means. Caprices that all humans are. They can also be careless and selfish and inconsiderate. There is no guarantee that this mythical princess of your imagination will help you. Why, there is no guarantee that this mythical princess exists at all. Still, you must try. It is this hope which keeps you going. You continue to run to the castle. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally you do it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time has begun to lose all meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least all the awful nightmares which dwelt within. Oh, and all the awful nightmares, yeah. It is still cold, though, and foggy, and very, very dark. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, though, as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl, or orb, or crystal ball. The moonlight shines down upon the castle, which looms in front of you like a cliffside. The stone edifice of the building is imposing, and it drowns you in shadows darker than the depths of the deepest ocean. The castle is not all dark, though, not like the night sky above it. When you crane your head, you can see that there are lights flickering within in the narrow slitted windows. It would appear that somebody is home. The king and queen, perhaps? What of their servants? What, perhaps, more pressingly, of their guards? You half expect as you stand there that armored knights will accost you for daring to approach the castle of King and Queen so-and-so. Do you not know your place, foolish peasant girl with the dirty skirt? Begone with you. You are not, of course, a peasant. Your family is a wealthy one, or rather, they were before your father made a series of poor financial decisions. Crypto. You do not look like a young lady right now, though, with your dirty face and your dirty skirt, which is torn at the hem. If any guards were to take you for a vagrant, it would not be surprising. But, though you stand there dithering, your filthy fingers hooked in front of your filthy skirt, you do not hear any cries. Nobody sounds the alarm. Lights might be on the inside of the castle, but there is nobody outside of its perimeter standing sentry. There is nobody to impede your entry, and the elaborate iron gates which are set in the vast stone walls about the castle's exterior are open just a crack. It would be a trivial matter to slip inside. There is nobody to stop you. Why are you trembling now, you silly thing? You have come so very far, it would be an act of foolishness to turn around now. Go on, go. You inhale, perhaps in an attempt to screw up your courage, which has long at last begun to fail you. And then you step forwards. You slide between the wrought iron gates as stealthy and secretive as a thief, then cross the path which leads up to the tall, imposing structure. The domed doorway which leads into the castle itself, hewn from stone, is closed, but as you push, at a push of your palm, it swings inwards. The door creaks alarmingly as it opens, the sound loud enough to split the silence like a thunderclap. You inhale at this and glance around, your eyes darting hither and thither. If there are any guards posted about the castle grounds, they should have all been alerted by that sound. Will they come for you at long last? What will happen should they catch you? Will they throw you into the dungeons? That does not sound like a pleasant way to spend the night. At least you would have a roof over your head, though, and you would not have to keep walking. Your feet really do ache. You stand there for an indeterminable amount of time, your heart pounding a panicked, irregular rhythm in the base of your throat. But no matter how much time elapses, no guards come. You are thankful for your good luck, though it does make you wonder, where is everybody? Why is it almost as if all the people in the world have disappeared? Could you be the very last human left alive? You frown, and then press your palm back against the door. You push less cautiously this time, heedless of the loud sound which splits the silence. There is no point of worrying about the guards, not when they might be very well non-existent. Your entry into the castle secured, you take a step forwards. The door swings shut beside you. The door swings shut behind you, and the resultant slam makes you jump. You did not expect it. Your heart knocks against your ribs, and with wild eyes you glance about. You are standing in a vast entrance hall made of stone, which splits off into a number of passages. At the very end of the hall, meanwhile, there is a large, elaborate staircase, one which seems to extend to the heavens themselves. It is dark inside the hall, but there are numerous torches set in the sconces in the stone wall, which are aflame. They offer some relief from the shadows. You can hear a faint sound of wind outdoors as it moans against the castle walls, but you cannot hear any footsteps. You cannot hear any voices. You cannot, more importantly, hear any people. Maybe the castle is empty. If that is the case, though, who lit these torches? It is a curious conundrum. You muster up what remains of your courage and then cry out, addressing the empty hall in a timorous voice which fails to properly fill up the space. "Hello," you say, your eyes wide. "Is anybody there?" Your voice echoes through the vast empty hall, but is met, yet again, with silence. You cannot say you are too surprised, but it is somewhat disappointing. No one, not one to be deterred, you try again and again, your voice growing louder with each subsequent attempt. No matter how loud your voice, however, it fails to reach any ears. If anybody is here, they do not seem to be particularly sociable. That, or perhaps they simply cannot hear you. Could they be in another room? Yes, that must be it. You will never find that pretty fairy tale princess of your imagination if you stand idle, you know. It is time to get to work. Put those legs of yours to good use. Not knowing what else to do, is there anything else you can do? You begin to explore. You examine the rooms first on the ground floor of the castle, which are similar scale to the impressive entrance hall, large and richly furnished, but utterly unoccupied. After some time of aimless meandering, encountering nobody save the ghosts of aeons past, memorialized on portraits upon the walls, you muster the courage to ascend to the second floor. This floor, too, you examine, wandering through seamlessly endless series of hallways until at long last you find a door which is ajar. From between the crack in the door and the jamb, you can see flickering light. Irregular, yes, but light nonetheless. Could it be from a fireplace? That would suggest, then, the room is occupied unlike all the others. Perhaps the kindly princess you dreamed of will be awaiting you in this room. It is with a trembling hand that you press your palm against the door. You push it. Then you step inside the bedchamber, which unveils itself to you. Shyly you stand in the threshold of the chamber, much of your courage extinguished, and gasp. The bedroom itself is gorgeous. It is a chamber so luxuriant not even the shadows can obscure the fine craft of the furniture within it, nor the rich patterns on the walls. It is the girl inhabiting the chamber, however, who truly takes your breath away. Sitting upon the velveteen sheets towering Sitting upon the velveteen sheets of the towering four-poster. What on earth does that mean? Is a girl in a sumptuous, don't know that word either, sumptuous red gown who seems to be of a like age to you. You do not have a clear view of the girl's face. Her head is bowed, her gaze directed downward, at her lap. You can tell from her hair, however, and her slender calves, which protrude from beneath the hem of her dress, that she is very pretty. The girl's hair is golden, just like freshly cut wheat, but it is the red of her dress which truly captures your attention. She is so striking you cannot look away from her. What the fuck is that? The girl is not alone in her chamber either. She has a companion, though this companion is not half as endearing as she. In her lap, perched upon her velvet skirt, is a doll. The doll's hair, like that of her mistress's, is golden, though much of it is hidden beneath a bonnet. The girl is adjusting the china teacup held in the doll's tiny hand, while the rim of the cup glints the light which exudes from the fireplace. If the girl is of similar age to you, it seems strange she would content herself by playing with dolls. Is she not too old for it? This girl would be more at home, you decide, at a ball, wearing an extravagant gown, speaking with wealthy noblemen, perhaps even princes. She should not be sitting in what you presume is her bedchamber, adjusting a teacup in a doll's hand. You are not afforded much more time to stand there, marveling at the girl, because she turns. She raises her head. Then her eyes meet yours. You thought the girl pretty when you first observed her sitting on the edge of her plush velveteen bed, examining her doll. Now she is looking at you, however, her face illuminated by the flames in their grate. You can see that you are mistaken. She is not just pretty, she is beautiful, so much so it is breathtaking. She looks as though she stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect to belong in this world. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination? But no, she is none of those things. The doll on her lap is a cold, hard thing made of porcelain, and is unflinchingly, reassuringly real. If she were a mirage, surely she would not be able to handle physical objects such as this. It is strange, though. The doll, though immaculately made, looks oddly imperfect when compared to the girl who is holding it. She is so startlingly beautiful. She even puts man-made representations of feminine charms to shame. The sight of her makes you feel rather weak. You always have had a fondness for fair maidens, haven't you? You are rather hopeless when it comes to them, even worse than a knight-errant from a courtly legend. Your aesthetic appreciation is not particularly ladylike, but, well, it is not every day a girl encounters an elegant beauty like this, attired in red, illuminated by the firelight. I suppose I can forgive you for this rudeness, as too can the girl. She does not seem to be the type to hold a grudge. "Oh," the girl says, in a voice, surprisingly enough, far less refined than her appearance. "It's good to see you. I've been waiting." Has she? That is news to you. You blink, perplexed, a response on the tip of your tongue, but you are unable to expel it into the ether. The girl is setting her doll aside, then she stands, the hem of her dress swishing about her legs. Nimbly, like a ballerina, she canvasses the space between you. Her room is very large, there is quite a lot of space, and then takes your hands into her own. "You must," the girl says, her eyes aglow with excitement, "be my new lady's maid. It's been a while, but it's such a relief that you've finally arrived. I knew that you would. You'd never leave me alone, not when you knew how long I was waiting. Oh, I'm so happy." The girl's mood is contagious, so much so you find being swept away. It's so hard not to just skip ahead in my brain. I suck at reading, which is why I'm starting a channel about reading a bunch of visual novels. Great. The girl's good mood is contagious, so much so you find yourself being swept away in it. You are tempted to accept any identity she might press upon you. You have never been a maid before, but you might not mind being this girl's maid. She does not seem to like a poor mistress to serve. Not if she is always this kind. You cannot mask the confusion, however, which flickers across your face. You are not a good enough actress, and, in any case, this is happening too quickly. Why, you barely know this girl. Why is she being so familiar? It is with blank bovine eyes that you examine the girl. Your befuddlement is pronounced enough that even the girl, despite her good mood, notices it. She frowns. Then she says, her fingers sliding away from your own, "Or am I mistaken? Are you not my new lady's maid after all?" The disappointment in the girl's face is abundant, so much so your heart clenches. You do not know her. She is still a stranger. That's what "you do not know her" means. But you are stuck, all of a sudden, with intense desire to appease her. You do not want to let her down. The thought is devastating. You were not aware, you tell her, that you applied to be her maid. But if that is what she wills, you would not be opposed to it. You pray that she forgives you, though, for your discombobulation. You come from a distant country, and you have traveled many miles. You know not where you are, and you not know who she is. What? You don't know who I am? It is regrettable, you tell her, but no. You do not know her, though that is no fault of her own. Why you have spent such a long time running, you hardly even know yourself. Ah, so you're a fugitive then, from another country? I see. I won't pry into your past then, if you'd rather forget about it. I don't mind sharing my past with you, though. Everybody in this country knows who I am, after all, or at least they should. Now, this is quite the impressive boast. If it were to come from the lips of another, you would find it unpleasantly arrogant. You do not think, however, that this girl is trying to show off. You get the feeling instead that she is merely telling the truth. If you don't have the pleasure of knowing me, then allow me to do the honors. My father and my mother were the king and queen of this realm, and I am its princess. I lived in this castle all my life, so I don't know much about the outside world, but I know that other countries do exist. I presume it is from one of these foreign countries that you come from. It is very good to meet you. I've always wanted to talk to somebody from overseas. It feels like quite the opportunity. The girl giggles at this, and you smile in response. You tell her unthinkingly that it is your pleasure, really, to meet her, or at least you mean to. You only get halfway through this remark when the full gravity of what the girl has told you sinks in. You come to a stop. Then you stare. Did she just say she was a princess? Yes, that's right. I'm a princess, and one day I'll be a queen after I've done a little bit of growing up. And my mother dies. Or father, or both. It depends on, yeah. My ministers don't think I'm ready to run the country just yet, but I've been doing my best at my lessons. One day, I'm sure, I will be the best queen there ever was. So she really is a princess. That makes sense, you suppose, given she lives in a castle, but it comes as a surprise nonetheless, also known as regardless. You hadn't known, before you entered this chamber, that you were trespassing on a lady of such great renown. Why, if she willed it, she could have you executed for your carelessness. An ugly red flush creeps upon your face, a flush which is far more lurid than the princess's dress, as you look at your feet. Bashfully you stammer out a new address, that you are very sorry for intruding upon her, and you hope she can forgive you. Oh, it's all right. Think nothing of it. I don't mind, really. We all make mistakes, and anyway, you weren't to know. You said you weren't from around here. You nod your head in silent affirmation. It isn't a complete lie. You really are not from this country. You are not from this world at all. How wonderful. I look forward to picking your brain later. All of my servants come from the nearby village. Their tales are the same, and so are their superstitions. I could do with a breath of fresh air. My last lady's maid told me I was too impetuous. I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting a bit of adventure. Not that I have ever been afforded much of that. I've been shut up in here for so long, I hardly get a chance to talk to other girls my age. My last lady's maid was older than me, and the one before her, and the one before her. Some of the princess's fair mood seems to dissipate as she speaks, her expression turning, by degrees, into something rather more pensive. But I haven't seen any of my old lady's maids in a while, or any of the other servants for that matter. They've all disappeared. Now that is quite curious. How could a whole household full of servants simply disappear? That I do not know. This castle was full of servants once. My lady's maids, and my undermaids, and my scullery maids, and my housekeeper, and my cooks, and a large retinue of retainers. They're all gone now, though. I think my ministers must have sent them away. I don't know why they would have done that, though. They didn't explain it to me. But then again, they never explain anything to me. They still treat me like a little girl. It is so tiring. She said her ministers sent her servants away? What of her parents, the king and queen? Would they not be the ultimate authorities in the castle's hierarchy? They would, yes, if they were still alive, but they're not. They died a long time ago. I was raised for most of my life by my servants. Oh, you answer, and then you flush. You hadn't known. It's all right. You don't need to apologize. I'm just happy that I have you now. I was getting sick and tired of only having my dolls to speak to. They aren't the best conversational partners. You can imagine so, yes. You doubt any doll, even one made by a talented artisan with an intelligent face indistinguishable from a human's, would be very good at answering back. Oh, no, they aren't. They're hopeless at it, really. They're so stony-lipped. Am I saying... I know I'm not saying all of this out loud, but it's so hard to tell what I'm saying out loud. Or if she can just read my mind and I'm not commenting on it. You've no idea how much it is a relief to see you. This castle is so big, and without my servants it feels so very empty. It gets so lonely here. Title card! Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. It catches inside your head like a burr. Have you heard it before? Oh, but listen to me yammering on again. It's a bad habit. I really must put a stop to it. You're probably tired, dear one, from your travels. Would you like me to show you your room? Yes, the princess announces, before you can say anything in reply. I think I'll just do that. I think I'll do just that. I might show you a bit around the castle first, though. It's like a maze in here, and I wouldn't want you getting lost. The princess then hastens to take you on a tour of her home. Fortunately, she does not show you all of the rooms in her abode, and neither does she offer overly long descriptions as to what the few rooms she does show you are used for. She does, however, pause by the kitchens, whereat she offers you some victuals. I don't know what that means. Oh, food, I guess. Once the growling in your belly has been satisfied, the princess then resumes her journey. She leads you down a dark, twisting hallway and up a series of equally dark, twisting steps until she arrives at long last before a door. The princess pushes this door aside summarily, thus permitting entrance to a small, humble bedchamber. This chamber is not half so opulent as the grand bedroom in which the princess resides, with its resplendent four-poster. That I just no idea why is a four-poster? What? Anyways, and its richly patterned wallpaper. Is it like a poster of the number 4? I don't get it. This room's ceiling is not as high, and the singular bed shoved against the wall is thin and narrow. The walls are an unassuming beige as the floor beneath your soles is of warped wood. There is a malodorous scent, too, which hangs in the air, one of disuse and general decay. You get the feeling that nobody has slept in this room for quite some time. That might explain why it feels so very cold in here. Though if the princess's tour of her castle has taught you anything, it is that it is cold in every room in her abode. Now, here we are, the final stop of our tour. This will be your room, dear one. I hope it is to your liking. The princess, despite her exalted status, looks somewhat uneasy as she observes you, her eyes upturned, like those of a loyal dog's. Is she concerned about your reaction to this room? Perhaps she is afraid that you will turn your nose up at her kindness. For a princess, she is awfully eager to please. This is unexpected This unexpected contrast between the princess's lofty title and her ingratiating attitude makes you smile. The room is rather scanty, yes, when it comes to its contents, but it is more than passable. It has a roof and 4 walls, and though it is cold, you fancy you will feel warmer once you have slipped beneath the bed sheets. The room is not quite so fancy as your dormitory at the conservatoire, and neither is it so large, but it does have one glaring improvement over your previous lodgings. You will not be expected to share it with anybody else. There is only one bed in this room, and the bed belongs to you. You think that the peace and quiet will do you a world of good. You tell the princess as much, and she smiles. That's good. I was worried you wouldn't like it. I know it isn't much to look at, but it's one of the nicest servants' rooms we have in the castle. Most of the maids sleep beneath the roof in this teeny tiny room, which is all cramped. There's 10 beds up there. They're so close together, there's barely any room to pass between them. I thought it was perfectly ghastly when I saw it, and the last time I went up there, not that I was supposed to be up there, it was a rainy day and I couldn't go outdoors, so I was doing a bit of exploring. If the housekeeper had known I'd been sulking around, I don't think she would have been pleased. Well, in any case, nobody sleeps there anymore. The scullery maids are all gone now. I couldn't put you up there, though, in the attic with all those empty beds. I didn't think it'd be very cheery. You're not just a scullery maid, you're my lady's maid. That means you deserve good lodgings, and it'd be an insult to offer you any less than this. Now, it's getting late. You'll have to forgive me for rabbiting on. I've heard it's something I tend to do. It's a bad habit, one that's unbecoming for a lady. The housekeeper's warned me enough times. You reassure the princess to the contrary, smiling as you do so. You do not mind if she talks too much. This is better than not talking at all. Her affable nature makes it easier to spend time with her, manners be damned. You were always scolded, too, back at the conservatoire for your behavior. Well, I'm glad you understand, the princess answers with a giggle. I should be off, though. It's bad manners to keep you, especially when you look so sleepy. Get some rest. We can talk more tomorrow if you don't mind my ceaseless prattle. I'm glad you seem to appreciate it, at least. Though I'm sure you'll get tired of it eventually. All of my old maids did. The princess departs, and in her absence you take a seat upon your bed. Your new bed. You cannot help but think that this is all happening very quickly. It does not seem like a very long time ago that you were still in a forest, running for your life amongst the tall, imposing trees with their gnarled, grasping branches. The forest might as well be a distant memory now, though. You are indoors, inside a castle no less, and you have been given a room in which to sleep and clothes that you might wear. It seems premature still to declare that you are out of the woods, in a metaphorical sense I mean, but things could certainly be worse. You force yourself to stand on legs which feel too weary to support you and change into the nightclothes hanging in the wardrobe. The nightclothes do not fit you perfectly, but you are too tired to care about that. You are too tired to care about much of anything. You retreat to the bed and slide beneath its sheets. Then you let your eyelids fall shut. You exhale. You are so very tired. Your sleep is a deep, dark one. Darker even than the furthest abysses of the nighttime. Like the nighttime sky, however, which simmers with stars, your sleep is not devoid of those prismatic fragments you humans call dreams. Though in this case, I'd rather think your nocturnal imaginings are worth rather more than that. They are not dreams, are they, to which your slumbering mind is subjected? You know that they are not. Otherwise your body would not be so very cold, not so clammy. The images that flicker beneath your closed eyelids like ghostly images in the... Okay, I definitely don't know that word. The phanastoscope? Were conjured from within your mind. They were, instead, taken from your memories. You are not merely dreaming, you are remembering. You remember the girls who slept in your dormitory and how they always hastened to use the shower first, so you were last for breakfast. You remember how, when you finally did arrive at the dining hall, the most desirable morsels had already been snaffled up by the girls who got there earlier. You struggled, too, to find a seat once you did get your hands on some food because nobody ever wanted to sit with you. Oh god, this game is too relatable. The other girls all acted like you were a leper, save for when they wanted favors. They never asked for these favors, mind, for why would they? To them, your father's prestige did not matter. They were all wealthy ladies, too, many of them wealthier than you. When everybody has the airs and graces of a princess, how is anybody supposed to stand out? You stood out the least in your class, perhaps because you were one of the smallest, frailest, the sickliest, who always came down with colds in the winter. Your poor health did not stop the other girls from treating you as a servant, though, when they remembered you existed, of course. It was your lot in life. As you dwelt within the stone walls of the conservatoire, you carry school bags across the field like a pack mule. Then, come the evenings, the girls in your dormitory had you sewing on missing buttons and ironing out the creases and wrinkles of their uniforms. If there was an odd job that needed performing, you would always be asked. But these girls did not ask you. That would have been too civilized. They ordered you instead, and as they ordered you, they laughed at you. They laughed and they laughed and they laughed. The laughter hurt, but it hurt considerably less than the kicks did, and the slaps, and the pinches. Once, during an embroidery lesson, one of your classmates had an accident with her sewing scissors. She stumbled, or at least pretended to, and before you knew it, the silvery blades of those scissors were embedded in your left palm. This happened quite some time ago, when you were even littler than you are now, but you can still remember it. It hurt a lot. The scissors were sharp, and they perforated your skin, not all the way down to the bone, but enough to bleed. Your wound bled bright red like strawberry jam all over your embroidery. Then when your professor saw it, she shrieked. Her face turned pale as whey, and she looked for a few moments as though she might faint, though you were the one who was in pain. Your professor looked at your face, she could not bear to look at your hand, and demanded to know how you could not be more careful. Her tone had been an accusatory one, almost as if you had stabbed yourself in the hand with your scissors to goad her. The pain in your hand hurt, but the giggles of your persecutors hurt all the more. They never were punished for that. Perhaps your professor did not care enough to punish them. Perhaps she, like everybody else, thought it was all your fault. The wound, when all was said and done, was not deep. You did not need any stitches. It healed well enough in time on its own, though it still left a scar, a white raised thing like a crescent moon. You still have that scar. You do not know how much blood you lost. It seemed like a lot back in the classroom. You could smell it in the air, sharp as iron, but it could not have been that much, evidently. If your wound had been more serious, perhaps the professor might have cared. Perhaps your classmate, too, would have felt some modicum of guilt over what they did. But this seems very unlikely. You know that your blood meant nothing to your classmates. Why should it? If you meant nothing, then the blood in your veins, if such a thing was possible, was even more consequential. Okay. I think that's a good point to stop. And we will continue this next time. Bye!